We're going back to my roots and we're talking about my top most favorite thrifted items of all time. I've been thrifting since I was 13 to 14 years old, and that's where Vagabond Youth, my old channel name, came from, because it was actually the name of my thrifted vintage store, or the name of my vintage store. And so I thought I would pretty much grow out of it, but I still consistently to this day thrift, and it's just with a totally different mentality. I'm not buying heaps of clothing, I'm just going in with one item in mind and coming out with that or nothing at all. So I wanted to share with you guys my favorite thrifted items of all time. These are pieces that have withstood all of time. Number one, a black turtleneck. I am wearing it. I've worn this probably so many times in my videos. This is the foundation on which I build so many of my outfits in the winter time, and I love this one because it's just this perfect material. It is thick enough for me to wear alone and I won't be super cold because it's not super thin, but it's thin enough where I can layer and layer if I go to, you know, colder places like the East Coast. So this was, I think, around, why did I touch my boobs? This was around $6 at a Savers when I was 17 or 18. And I have other black turtlenecks from H&M and fast fashion shops, but the quality of them just does not match to this one. And this is one that I always go back to. The color does not fade because it's been through so many washes already. And I believe the original brand is Style & Company, which I think, correct me if I'm wrong, used to be sold at Macy's, and it was like you know, like our mom's age or mom's demographic, but this is one of my favorite pieces of all time. I have other black turtlenecks, but this is the one that I need and I must. I don't know, I just love it. It's like the best purchase of all time. I'm a huge fan of camisoles and bodysuits, but I hate that cotton spandex material. So when I found this at the thrift store, I love that, number one, it's in a flesh tone color. It reminds me of something that's very on trend, and I was just looking at it right now, and dude, I still have the Goodwill tagger. It's like a purple, so purple days are, you know, this, and I still need to take this off, but I've had this for years, and my favorite thing about it is, one, the color, and two, that it's made out of a nylon spandex material. So it's this really slinky, nice, like almost water resistant, but it's totally not water resistant material. And I love that it has adjustable straps on the back. So this is just a piece that I think is super timeless. This is from the brand Jockey, which I'm pretty sure that means that this is sleepwear, but I just wear this with, you know, jeans, blazers, and this is probably one of my staple pieces in my closet, just camisoles in general, but particularly this flesh tone nylon one. And this one was, I think, $1.99. So crazy. So if you've been an OG subscriber, like I said, you know that Vagabond Youth was my vintage store, and I used to sell denim shorts, and it would say "Get High. Wasted," and it was like studded, and it was kind of Tumblr famous, if I want to toot my horn. But I got these Levi's men's pants, and I used to just cut them. I used to get the smallest waisted ones and just cut them. And so this is one of my oldest pairs. I think I've had this for like 8 years now. These ones I tapered up, because if you fold them up, it's cool to wear them as like short shorts, but then if you fold them down, they kind of give this like Western vibe. And I like how the fray and the pockets really show. The only thing is that the waist is really big, so I always told myself that I would, you know, go get it altered and cinch it in at the waist, but honestly it's so comfortable when you're eating a lot of food. These pants I actually thrifted a very, very similar pair, but they were frayed because obviously I cut them off and I DIY'd them, and they were men's pants. But these I actually got from Zara, and I wanted to include these because these are exactly like the ones I thrifted years and years ago, but the ones that I thrifted were probably like $2 or $3, chopped off the thighs, and I always make sure to taper them. But I got these from Zara because they look exactly like the ones I thrifted. They remind me so much of the original ones I got from Goodwill, which I have no idea where they are. I've moved so many times in the past 2 years, so they probably got lost somewhere, but I wanted to mention these because they remind me so much of them. And I think this was like $35, but the whole point of this video is not to support unethical business practices and the killing of the earth. So please go thrift. Please go thrifting, because you can find these at the thrift store for much cheaper. You just have to look a little bit harder. But I wanted to be completely transparent with you guys because that's how I am, you know? This edition is pretty new. I think around late last year. I have always been obsessed with menswear blazers. I didn't want to go out and purchase a really expensive designer one, and I just hated all the ones that fast fashion women's blazers are. So they're very tight and fitted, and I want boxy. The bigger the shoulder pads, the better. wear. I think some people think they look silly, but I think the bigger the shoulder pads, the chicer it looks. So I immediately went to Goodwill, I think late last year in December, and I have just been on a blazer rampage. So the first one I ever bought was this Hugo Boss one, and I've worn this all over my Instagram. I'm gonna insert all these pictures, and I've been wearing this blazer so much, but it was only until now that I realized I bought it so ripped up. But that just goes to show you that, I don't know, I obviously don't care because I love it. It's one of my favorite blazers, and I love the way it fits. I love the texture, I love the pattern, I love the color. I went thrifting with Diego at Goodwill, and these were all like $8.99 in the menswear section, and this one is one that I wore in my struggle to snatch video, and this one too is pretty fucked up. I just don't know where. Oh yeah, so at the top it's so stretched and ripped, but I love the fit and the color of this camel tone. It's like a nice thin wool material, and I just roll up the sleeves on all the blazers. And this one is just my classic black Calvin Klein menswear blazer, and I had like 2 more, but then I gave one to Diego because I was like, during my blazer craze, I went kind of crazy. So I'm sticking with these 3. You know, I have a couple more, but these are my 3 favorites that I want to show you, and these were all from Goodwill, and I pair this with pretty much anything. Honestly, I would pair this with this outfit as well. I just like how androgynous this looks, and it's very my vibe. Like, I feel like I'm feminine, but I love masculine silhouettes and pieces because I feel like my soul is a little bit more masculine. All right, enough of that. This is probably one of my oldest and my favorite thrifted item of all time, because I got this around 4 years ago while I was shooting with Macy's at the Melrose Trading Post, and this was before I think Urban Outfitters started selling these for like 80 bucks, but I got this for $25, and she collected vintage Harley-Davidson shirts, and I think now at the Melrose Trading Post they're like $40, which is still better than Urban Outfitters' crazy $80, but I've literally worn this to death. I try really hard to hand wash this now and not wear it so much because I love this shirt. It fits so well and it's so comfortable, but it really is deteriorating and it's about to rip off. So I have to really protect it. Yeah, I have to really protect it because it's truly vintage. And honestly, one of my tips is also to go on eBay and buy Harley-Davidson vintage shirts. I have another one, but it didn't make my most favorite thrifted items. That one I got for $8.99. It's over on my bed there, but it's huge. The shirt reeked of beer, sweat, and smoked cigarettes, like cigarette smoke. And I was like, dang, this is authentic. This ain't no Urban Outfitters stuff. Like, some motorcycle man or woman really enjoyed their life in this shirt. But this one, like I said, I got at the Melrose Trading Post, and I've tried to buy other Harley-Davidson t-shirts, but this one is by far my favorite because of the design. It's not too cheesy, it's not too, you know, pseudo motorcycler, because I don't want to look like a poser, you know, because I don't really ride. For $25, that is probably a steal for me. This was at a time right before they started jacking up all the prices on vintage t-shirts, so I was really excited. It's one of my favorite pieces of all time. Last but not least, this is my most recent thrifted item. I really like this top in particular because it has a very interesting collar as opposed to the regular boxy one, and I like how it just kind of V-lines down. And for me, I just grabbed my mutant nipples, which are basically just nipple pasties, but I call them my mutant nipples, and you can just tuck these into your shorts and it'll give you a really sexy plunging neckline that I think is really timeless and chic. But I typically like to tie it and give it this really DIY Reformation vibe, and that's probably much why I like this shirt, because it's Reformation for $5. I think I thrifted this for $3.99 at a local Goodwill, and I like that it's white. It's just like it's kind of like a polyester textured material. You can wear it cropped, you can wear it tucked in, you can wear it buttoned up, which I never have done that because I do like the plunging neckline. That was it. Those are my favorite thrifted items of all time. These are pieces that I've kept with me and I'm gonna keep with me for years and years to come. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to follow me on Instagram at amy_lee, #rebrand, if you want to see how I style all these pieces, because I post a bunch of outfit of the days on there. And hit the subscribe button if you like this video, and like this video if you liked it, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye. Hey.